The significance of 1992 goes far beyond West Coast winning and beating Geelong. It is a defining moment in football. It legitimises the AFL because it needed a non-Victorian side to win a premiership. Making a grand final is very, very difficult, and more so when you come from the West, where our travelling is unequalled, probably in world sport, and it does put enormous pressure on you. Having made the grand final in 91, the state erupted. People were pretty happy with the fact that we actually played off against one of the great sides in Hawthorn.
A disappointing finish then for Mick Malthouse and his players, but on reflection, the Eagles will find a lot to be proud of from season 1991.
We worked pretty hard through 90 and 91 to get there. I was still very, very proud of the boys, but I guess on the night, the disappointing thing was that several players just didn't really perform to the expectations. And sometimes that's nerves, sometimes it's the simple fact that the opposition is much better. But one thing we didn't want to do is get back up there again and lose it. We got rid of the cobwebs, the work ethic lifted, the discipline got back on track. We played week to week as opposed to thinking about September. We played a harder brand of footy and the troops rallied. Personally, I was far more confident in 92 than finishing on top in 91. We were in a good position injury-wise. We had a couple of blokes out, but they were ready to come back in the side, so we had a pretty good list to pick from. A lot of players had been blooded. Those that hadn't played a lot of football had good form by the end of the year. The reality was we were a better perform side. We were more confident. We had the year before under our belt. There was an air of confidence within the group, certainly without being over the top. You don't want players going away with lack of confidence nor overconfidence. So I thought we had a really good balance right throughout the club that particular year.
The West Coast Eagles will be into the grand final, and what a superb performance it was.
I'll be 95 on Sunday.
The day after the grand final?
Yes.
So what do you want for your 95th birthday?
I want a win for the Eagles.
A week ago, the Eagles were asking for breathing space in the lead up to the grand final, but this afternoon, around 3,500 supporters just couldn't help themselves. Even Mick Malthouse was in a relaxed mood, taking the time out for a bit of kick-to-kick with his sons Troy and Kane. Though he remembers this time last year and admits to having more than a few butterflies.
Oh yeah, well certainly the nerves are here. I doubt very much they weren't there last year, but yeah, but tell me.
And they all agree they can't wait for the big one.
Feeling good and ready to go, yep.
Been looking forward to this day since exactly this time last year, so now's the time to redeem ourselves.
And regardless of the result on Saturday, the Eagles are sure to bring something back from the East Coast.
You one or two things coming back, Brooksy? The cup on my head.
The most important question here tonight is how the players pulled up after this final training session in Perth. With me is the Eagles assistant coach, Rob Eiley.
Yes, well, that's one of the boys. Thanks, Peter Wilson. He won't be getting a game this weekend. Yeah, they all trained very well, and I'm sure the boys appreciated the fans coming down to support them. Obviously, Geelong's going to be a very tough side to beat, David, and we're well aware of that. And I think still fresh in their minds that loss last year to Hawthorn. So I think that's just enough to keep them focused.
Okay, Robbie, thanks for your time. At least the water was warm.
We were starting to settle in on the group that we knew could handle the big stage. And there's none bigger than the MCG Grand Final.
What a picture we've got up here. Here come the balloons now. Geelong are out on the ground. All is in readiness for one of the greatest occasions in Australian sport.
Tall order Geelong. Geelong are a frightening side when they get going because we know that their strike power is such. Our belief was best defensive side always beat the best offensive side. Geelong was certainly the best offensive side, but we thought we could cover them. We've got a fairly good midfield, but it was just not functioning. Geelong were able to control the ball, defended well, took their opportunities, but when you've come down the race and you're knocking down the walls, at some stage it's going to take its toll. At some stage you're going to have no energy, and it was just important that we just got back in a position by half time to mount our challenge.
10 points the margin as the Eagles claw their way back.
The back line tightened up, the midfield started to just pinch its ground back against Geelong, and we started to get the ascendancy back. But what we needed to do was then just to relax and think about the next half.
There's the siren. It's half-time in the grand final.
When we went into the rooms, I couldn't believe the chatter. Our boys believed they took the best blows that they could give. So it's the first time I've told players just to shut up and just relax a bit and focus, which luckily they listened to.
Mick Malthouse rushed into the rooms. He went around to each player individually and spoke to them, urging them on, pointing out a couple of errors that a couple of them made during that second quarter. I just hope that they can calm down enough over the half-time break and come out in this third quarter.
Intriguing situation, this one. The Eagles have trailed at half-time in 9 games this season. They're the best come-from-behind side in the league. They've come back to win 5, the best ratio in the AFL. So if you were stage managing this is the way you would set it up. The Eagles are set to pounce.
Teams have to play very, very well all day to beat us.
Well, this game at the moment being played exclusively in one half.
After half-time, it was only a matter of time before we could start to rein in their better players and negate their opportunity to score, because our overall game had started to change.
Momentum has shifted in the grand final. A mighty fight back, gritty determination as the Eagles have blasted their way back into this grand final.
My habit at three-quarter times, whether I was trailing or not, was always just to glance at the scoreboard and think, what does the opposition need to do to rein you in? What do you need to rein them in? And the processes that we went through in that third quarter were all about reversing what we did in the first half. We closed them down at the stoppages, negated their scoring, but were also able to attack off the back line. So once you get blokes like McKenna, Worsfold, Jakovic, Waterman, all running off the back line, you know the forwards are going to get enough of the football to win the quarters. So I felt comfortable at three-quarter time we could win the game if we produce that again.
The West Coast Eagles throw down the challenge. If you're good enough, you catch us. If not, it's our flag.
It was really just don't get too far in front of ourselves and try to convince the players to stay focused on every contest, which they did magnificently. Defensively, we were sound. It's just a matter of finishing off at the front end.
Eagles players and supporters right around the country preparing to celebrate. The Eagles breaking the ice in the AFL and doing it in style. It will be a day etched in football history. The national competition has come of age. The Eagles are going to win their first love.
There's a lot of emotion to go through in the grand final, but it's a moment of relief when that siren goes, more so than anything else.
Standing ovation for Michael Malthouse. He's lifted this side to the ultimate.
The coach of the premiership team, Michael Malthouse.
That West Coast 1992 side achieved what a lot of other clubs from outside Victoria wanted to, and since then have done, is win a premiership. And the AFL finally became a national competition.
This time last year we still had the same number of faces, which I thought was outstanding considering we were humbled by Hawthorn. Possibly the same people who were here last year come back again, and this time we've got the bloody thing.
Mick Malthouse has been a coach for 9 years. It's taken 9 long years, but finally he has the premiership that all AFL coaches so desperately want.
We thank all you people for sticking with us through some hard time and some good, and now we're able to enjoy the good. And thanks very much.